Hi there, my name is David Darke. I'm from an agency called Atomic Slash. We're based in Bristol in the UK, and my talk tonight is about how to increase recurring revenue in your business. My name is David Darke. I'm Ops Director at an agency called Atomic Slash. We're based in Bristol. This is a very rare photo. It was I guess Instagram was around. It definitely won't take as many photos. I wish I had more photos back in the day. This is 14 years ago when myself and my business partner started. We're in a business incubator in Bristol for Spike Island. It was actually just after we started because we made a major investment and bought an iMac, which was a huge burden at the time. We now grow into a team. This size 18. Myself and my business partner's roles have definitely shifted. I've worn lots of different hats in that time as well. And this talk is about growing revenue for an agency. A lot of it can be applied to, being a freelancer. We actually know a couple of freelancers based in Bristol as well have basically, and they're just just freelancers. There are definitely some topics here and then talking points that are definitely relevant for everyone, really. Just really around the team, just worn many different hats. I've shifted away from being the sole developer in the team, which was very challenging. And especially that sort of, by the time we got our first employee, we really needed our first employee. Shifted away to managing the development team, to then managing the team at large, and now more actually running the business and managing the business. My actual role has shifted a bit, even in the last couple of weeks, and becoming more on the things and looking for clients and more the client out side of things. So definitely going to try and do more events like this in the future as well. So it might sound really obvious, but why is recurring work actually a good thing? Literally because of this. And when you're trying to grow a business, or even when you're trying to have stability in a business, the peaks and troughs, use my laser pointer. The peaks and troughs that come with project work are so challenging to face. You will go through the point of needing to queue up work while you're finishing the current project. You get to a point where there's, very possibly you don't have to have any revenue, which you then have to kick back up. And there's that feast and famine mentality is really hard to scale a business with. And even not trying to scale a business, if you just try to, just have stability in your business as a freelancer, it's really challenging. So recurring revenue is really just the idea of, you have a set amount of money that's coming in every month with really stability. Obviously, clients come and go. In theory, as long as you're doing a good job and you're able to keep the leads coming in and client base, in theory, it's an upwards trajectory. So really it's about having predictable income, more stable workload, clear expectation to clients as well. Because when you're working with a client for, 5-6 years, you're really building a relationship and actually getting under the hood of what they're doing. And, when you deliver something, you actually, the actual whole communication process is a lot clearer. You will find that, in that sort of lifespan of a relationship of that length, the actual delivery process becomes almost second nature. And if you actually say something's going to take a month to deliver, 2 months to deliver, 3 months to deliver, or 1 day to deliver, there's a bit more trust process. So clients' expectations are really being met. And also predictability of hiring costs and just general costs in general. If you've got a set amount of work that needs to be done every month and you're charging clients for those days every single month, you can kind of scale the business with the idea you have a bit of buffer, you're filling the buffer. Side of design, development, client partner or something, just everything becomes a bit more predictable. We really went through this process with one of our clients. We basically finished a big project for us. We definitely did not charge enough money for it. It was for a big site. We undercharged for them, but second we finished, they wanted to do more stuff. And as an agency, we're on that project mindset. We wanted to find the next project, and we weren't really set up for this. How do we actually fit in these small changes? And some of it was like, 1 or 2 days a month trying to facilitate this, but we basically tried to squeeze this in. And as we did that, requests became sort of more and more to the point where we're actually working with that client for almost 10 days a month. So we shifted our mindset and actually got the team to actually deliver on a regular basis. So that one client and their requests and our facility to actually change for them and adapt for them really set us on a course for what to do it. We basically then changed how we actually look for clients and the clients we actually want. So this is kind of what we've learned from going through that whole process of changing it. And it is a very different approach we take to most agencies. We really have to build consistency again, because we're having these relationships that we want to last, 5 years. There is a very likely chance that we might not deliver as expected a client in that period of time, but you should have the ability to talk in an honest and open way to build and fix relationships as well. But actually being able to deliver consistently really just helps those relationships, and again sets expectations where they need to be. So yeah, there's 3 areas we've really tried to build consistency, and the things that you have control over. A lot of the stuff is out of your control, especially with certain clients and how they work and those things. But actually within a business, you can control some things. So we took a lot in. We look at our team, to ways of making sure we kept the team happy, building that consistency, and actually we're working with a client and they have on their account. We want to make sure there's the status of knowledge is kept. And there's not constant moving circles of even internal teams. It could be developers, designers, anyone that's got internal knowledge. Actually keeping that in the team is kind of key. So we worked on our one-to-one process to make sure they're super open, honest. We started doing this thing called tracking net promoter scores. I'll talk about this in a minute. We use their software to help actually track team happiness. That's the key, probably the easiest way of tracking happiness within the team. There's no real way of doing it, but this is the closest thing. It's basically, would an employee actually say they'd want to, would they use a business as some way to? So yeah, this is something we started tracking, and we basically asked for feedback, and actually anonymous feedback as well. So with the tool that we use, Office Vibe, actually people can give us feedback anonymous, and we can communicate back with them. It comes direct from us, and everyone's talking to them. That really allows, if there's some tension within the team, they can reach out and talk about problems, but not necessarily have to identify. And a lot of time with teams as well, there's a lot of nervousness about talking about challenges and those sort of things. And a team of 18, you can actually not anonymity actually works quite well. It's quite hard to work out who's talking about those things. So yeah, that really helps when trying to get to the bottom of problems. We created a thank you budget within the team, so everyone gets, it's quite small, it's like £50 a year or something, but it just gives the ability to say if someone on the team has helped them recently, even as a bit of code or just help support them in any way, they can just send a thank you gift. We even have like a sheet of like what people like, if they like beer, if they like wine or whatever, if we're buying an event or a ticket to an event, whatever. But just that small thing, it's a small investment as a business, but actually really helps. And that internal support is really good. Going back to Office Vibe, it has a really good system called, you can send a good vibe. It's just a simple thing of just sending someone cards, pre-set out messages to say, thanks for the support, blah, blah, blah. There's hundreds of these little cards, and you can just send them. And the team send them, we're not forcing them to do it, but they send them to each other. It's almost 30-40% a month. It really helps. Just boosts people's spirits, really. It's just a nice thing to receive. We also set aside time and money for learning and development. So everyone has £400 for the year for learning and development. So usually that's tickets to events or conferences, or a bit of software if they want to trial something. Just give that sort of ability to say, you've got the time to do it, and there's a bit of money there as well to just experience. The only requirement really is that if you find something good, you share it with the team. So we're not watching it, we're not scrutinizing every payment or every bit of research. Most of the team are doing that and trying to get it back and circulate the knowledge. Maintenance bits that we had to do to change the team. Keeping clients happy. There's a real thing around client services, how you communicate with clients. We had a really good story recently around, and someone basically was talking about how much they love their web development. And when she talked the things that happen have been sort of bad stuff. They started falling over like around Christmas time. They've been a bit lax on some of the support side of things, but they love because the person who owns the business communicated in regularly, actually had WhatsApp message come to reach out to them regularly. And also the client partners or project managers on their team were just really good listeners. And they loved it just for that. Actually, the delivery side of things wasn't fantastic. And I think as developers or as agency owners or as freelancers, we're so like fixated with the idea of what we deliver is so important. We don't really think about how we deliver it. That's a real key thing. And to hear someone talk about the wonderful relationship with their current agent, these are some of what we're like trying to pitch to as well, and how much they love. But it's all around how well they communicate rather than what they can deliver. So yeah, really just that client services thing is a real superpower, and it's worth really investing in. And that can be gifts to clients, like just again, small investments at Christmas time, just sending gifts, the clients gifts, regular calls, just as an owner or as a freelancer, just checking in, even if you haven't worked with them in a year or 6 months, just checking in just to see how things are going. And it's amazing when you shape the tree, like how much work comes out of it. That's a real key thing. The other thing is clients aren't always right. There's a big fallacy around, the customer's always right. It's sometimes not the case, but the main thing is if they've got a problem or a challenge, you're there to listen, and pretty much every client relationship can be fixed. That's a key thing. Even if something's going really bad, there's a way of talking it through and getting to the bottom of those problems. So even if there are challenges within the relationship, they most of the time can be fixed. So that's team, clients, and then the sort of consistency we've had to bring. Offering. So we've had to be really crystal clear about what we offer. So as we're working with clients on this really regular basis, they have to be clear and understand exactly what we deliver on a monthly basis. At the minute, it's crystal clear. We do development work, we do design work, it's a strategy with clients. We're starting to think about more external services, so rolling in SEO and those sort of side things. But the way we deliver that, way we talk to clients has to be very, very clear as they come to us for certain things. And if there's any sort of discrepancy or any blurriness, that boundary, you can get roped into a whole matter of things. There's definitely instances where hosting is with the client's internal team, and you want to be very clear that you can't touch that. You have no control over it. And, that's a defined thing. So when there's a problem with the hosting, you're not the ones on the line, or it's not your fault. It's really a case of being very clear about what you're responsible for and just being very clear about what you can and can't deliver. You get asked a question that you feel like it's actually going to be a real challenge to deliver, or you feel there's going to be a problem with the project, or there's a big amount of risk in something. Just saying there's risk in this and talking it through is really, really powerful. And actually, I think clients get a lot of people just saying yes. And actually, if you say no from time to time and push back and be clear around deliverables and actually, talk about phased approach and kind of have all this stuff. You don't have the budget for now, but you can have this small amount or have a range. You really, really help to bolster the ratio and their trust in you. Basically, if you don't say no early on, then you're always saying yes. That's everything we've learned. So being clear and crystal and styles is really important. So strategies and tools. So this is something we've worked on quite a bit. So we restructured how we work in the week. So as a team, most of our devs are 5 days a week. There's a couple that are on 4, one's on 3, after 8, so on 3. But most people are work 5 days a week. The idea is Monday to Thursday is actually production work, and the clients are very, very clear on this as well. And then Friday is open for so structured learning and development time, space to help others. So people can actually say, I've got this problem, I need help, and to get some people on. And that actually means, because we've got this day available, if there's a challenge on Wednesday that can be delayed until a Friday, we can actually get multiple heads in the room and actually work out a virtual room to actually work out a problem. It gives time for collaborative estimates. Was that classic idea of, if you ask one person, what's the distance from here to the moon, they're going to give a random number. But if you ask 3 people, you take the average, you're probably about right. So actually having multiple developers estimate one thing actually will give you a more realistic time, because they all have different, or everyone has different core processes. So yeah, actually there's a big task coming up, getting multiple people to estimate that thing. We've got the time available to do that. And if we're trying to do production work 5 days a week, it just doesn't work. We try to squeeze all the stuff in and around. And there's actually more focus on the days that have production. I mean, it's ideally devs can be sort of prepping me. That's the ideal solution. Like on Friday, if there's something that's coming up next week, they'll be a bit prepped on the week before. That doesn't actually happen as much as we probably like, just because of the other stuff above, people that are trying to help others. In theory, if there's something upcoming, it gives that idea of you've got this 4 days next week to crack on with something. What's the best way and what's the best use of time in that time? It also means a very clear with clients. There's no deployments on Fridays, unless literally something's on fire. And there's no work on Fridays. The client knows that as well. So we're very, very clear all the way up that the time that's being used is mapped. And also certain tasks are actually easier to schedule, because sometimes when you're protective of time, you might have a task that you actually need 4 days to concentrate on. It sort of might be 2 days to concentrate on sort of. That means you can actually structure the time in and around that. So for example, if there's a 2-day task, doing it Wednesday, Thursday, and then giving it to the client last end of play Thursday allows them to review on Friday. And if there's any amendments, picked up Monday, so you can really structure the week. Again, it's 5 days a week. That without having that gap, sometimes this becomes actually like harder to handle that stuff. We started using this tool as well called Productive. It's amazing for what it does. It's a full management tool. So we've got most of our client services stuff in here as well. Like just a real brief overview of what it does. It has the ability to put all your clients in there. You can put all your projects in there as a project management tool. You put all your staff in there. So hey, when it comes to actually like working out your capacity, you put all your staff in there and you put your budgets in. So you have a project coming up, it has a certain budget. You can assign that to your staff members. You can assign that to your client, whose project is. But it means that your staff actually put the holidays in there, and the holidays all run through this as well. So you actually have a real clear idea of like how long a project's going to take. Because if this thing's going to take 20 days, we can see someone's holiday, they've got a week off in 2 weeks' time. You can actually balance stuff really, really effectively. So yeah, really, if you're using a management tool, it's actually relatively affordable. So even for freelancers, if you're working with a small team or external team, no keeper's capacity. It's a really powerful tool and worth investment. We basically do our whole team planning in it. So you can see, I mean, it's hard to see, but we block out, and the way we were, we're planning the days that are going to be used for the client in particular, almost a month or two in advance. So one client will know, and we tell them when their days are, that, on the second week of February, we'll be working 3 days, blah, blah, blah. So actually that mapping and that pre-booking is really helpful. It also means we can pre-book our learning development time or any other events that we know, and even just team events we can actually sort of schedule, and it's very, very visual to me. So the other thing is, like, how would you actually find these clients to work with? We tried to get the exact number. I don't know the exact number, but it's around 70 to 80% of our clients have come to us because agencies they currently work with can't keep up with the changes they want. It's a simple fact. They're sending emails to the current agency and they just can't. Sometimes they don't answer the emails, but that'll be a case of, because they've got a large project undergoing at this time, they just don't have the capacity to just do a day's work here and a day's work there. So actually, as a start of a relationship, our ability to deliver at, and come in and just be able to do the work they want to do. It's not even like doing anything really proactive, just delivering to their expectations. We actually have a really good start to any relationship. We're very willing to take on a lot of sites that have not been built by us. That's another approach. Whenever a client will talk to an agency about a project, the first thing they try and do is try and build them a new site. We're basically on the polar opposite side. We want to take your site and evolve it to, as far as we can, before needing to replace it. And again, that's a really strong sell for a client because they might not want to spend the amount of money it takes the site initially. They might want just to hold on to the site to make sure they feel they got some change or there's been some movement. So our real approach is trying to talk to clients that are potentially, even in our outreach, like potentially have relationships with existing agencies or that might get unhappy with this one approach. But most of the relationships that we do build just simply because they just want work done. They can't get done. And it's just small bits of work that most agencies are willing to down the tools on the big project they're working on to then deliver. So yeah, it's really about just aligning to creating a service that those clients want and need to jump in on their current site and just get moving straight away and fast. It's a key thing. There's also another aspect to this that the internet's getting old now, and then marketing managers have probably been through the process of making new sites 2 or 3 times now. 40 years ago when we started, marketing managers didn't have much experience with the web, but they kind of been through that whole process. So when you actually start seeing people wince when they have to think about building a new website, especially if they're used to the whole process of building a new site and the risks that can come with it and the delivery of those sort of things. So it's actually getting and talking with those clients. And when you say you don't actually need new sites, usually their eyes light up. The thing that we really been thinking about a lot, I've mentioned before, is just what we do alongside what we do. So a lot of our work is pure development and design and a bit of strategy. But for us, the thing that we talk with a client, let's say we have a relationship for 4 or 5 years, you basically get to the bottom of the barrel of things you can do to a site, the things you can offer and the development features you can add without, either starting again or even just run out of things to add on in their sector. For example, they might just have, they just run out of things that they quite even want themselves. So the idea of us having a bit more control over things like SEO and making recommendations around, you have this thing over here, you need to invest and try and get into that market. That can then lead into building a development backlog because you have the SEO requirement over here and the development needs to come with it. So that's our approach moving forward, is way more on the strategic side, and that might come with SEO, it might come with content production as well. Basically, that's something we just don't do. We always partner with SEO agencies or content producers to do that stuff in a minute, but bring that bit more in-house, then lead clients. And I guess the root of it is all clients want their site to be doing better, and they want their site to grow. Either want more traffic, or they want more leads, or they want more conversions, they want more sales. So if you can actually help them in that process, and it's, holding that hand through that process as well, that's where the value of where you can actually build real value and trust and keep your clients with you for the amount of time we sort of talk you. And yeah, we definitely feel that ability to do something simple as SEO, or I say simple, but as aligned as SEO, rather than doing anything too strategic or being business analysts or anything like that. Some of this stuff, some simple SEO, even just like sourcing broken links, just get a tool to look at the broken links and solve them. Clients really respond well to that stuff. The simple things to do and quite quick to do. But if no one's looking at that stuff, they really resonate. That's it. Hope that's useful. And there's some key points there. Tiny social media stuff. Hard to see on the screen. But yeah, any questions?